It would be nice if narcissists came with some kind of warning sign that we could all identify and stay away from soon after we meet them, but this unfortunately isn't the case. By the time we realize that we're involved with a narcissist, it's often far too late to avoid the damage that they can cause. But how can we know? Even if we're in the middle of a relationship that we're starting to feel confused by, that we have some questions about, how do we know if it's a narcissist that we're dealing with? In this video, I want to go over some signs that maybe aren't discussed quite as much or quite in depth that can help you decipher whether or not you're involved with a narcissistic person. And the signs that I'm going to go over are things that, as I look back in my life, things that were red flags at the time that were sure signs that I was dealing with a narcissistic person, but things that at the time I really didn't understand or couldn't identify as problematic as they actually were. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. Now, there's a long list of classic warning signs that you're involved with a narcissist, and those include things like the narcissist will often rush into a relationship, they'll often rush intimacy and commitment sooner than you've really had a chance to get to know them. They can love bomb you, they can just make you feel like they're completely enthralled and in love with you and they found their soulmate after like a week of dating you. And another common warning sign is that all this love bombing can suddenly turn to criticism and almost a feeling of being hated for as little valid reason as you were once loved. And this can all be very confusing, and these are all kind of classic warning signs that you're dealing with a narcissist. I want to dig a little deeper into those little moments I had, especially in the beginning, where something felt a little off, but I had no idea what I was dealing with. I had no idea what it meant, and I easily dismissed, ignored, and excused these as little idiosyncrasies that weren't that important. And these signs can occur when things are otherwise going really well in the relationship. They can happen while you're still in some kind of love bombing idealization phase, or they can also happen when you're being devalued. These are more just traits of a narcissist that can show themselves at virtually any time. One of the first signs that you're dating a narcissist is a narcissist will get angry over things that have nothing to do with him or her. It's like they feel some tie, some emotional tie or investment in something that doesn't have anything to do with them, which really means that they feel like it does have something to do with them, and this is because they feel like the world revolves around them. A quick, easy example of this is they might get angry at the way people are driving. And it won't necessarily be somebody's driving that affects them. It won't be because somebody cut them off in traffic. It'll be the way somebody's driving over on that side of the road. Or maybe they're just walking down the road and they see the way somebody's driving, or they see the way somebody's driving on TV or something, and they will sit and criticize and get angry about the choices somebody's making that have nothing to do with them. They might get angry at the way other people live their lives, at choices that people in other cultures make, people on the other side of the world maybe, things that are completely removed from them, but things that maybe they think are stupid or just a way that people, quote, shouldn't be. Narcissists feel like they know the best way to do everything. They feel like the world revolves around them, so they feel like everyone should do everything the way they think that it should be done. And anyone in the whole entire world that does something differently than how the narcissist would do it kind of offends their ego. They feel like everyone should be doing everything the, quote, right way, and only the narcissist knows the right way, so anyone that does anything or lives their life in any way that the narcissist doesn't think is right is offensive and really creates a lot of anger in them. And this is why you will see them get really angry over things that seem to have absolutely nothing to do with them. Another sign that you might be dating a narcissist is a rigid inflexibility. Narcissists will have certain opinions or preferences, and they absolutely will not entertain anyone else's ideas. They will not debate with you. They will not discuss things with you. They will not listen to you. They have their mind made up about everything, and it doesn't matter how reasonable or unreasonable their opinions seem. Their opinions are absolutely rigid and inflexible. There is very little that you will be able to change a narcissist's mind about. You may be able to influence them by introducing things, maybe introducing a new band that they've never heard and they like the music. That might be acceptable. But if they don't like a certain band and you do, or if they don't like a certain actor and you do, you will never be able to get the narcissist to give your music a chance or give a movie with that actor in it a chance. Narcissists know that they're right about everything. And that includes petty, silly things that don't really make any difference. You cannot change their mind. The idea of being able to change their mind is very threatening to them. Narcissists are basically control freaks, and that certainly includes their own opinions and preferences. They are not going to allow you to influence them in a way that encourages them to let go of things that their ego's invested in. What's funny about this trait that can make a red flag even redder is that the opinions and preferences they have, that they dig their heels in so hard on, that they will argue with you so adamantly and passionately about, can completely change in an instant for no explainable reason. They might insist that they hate chocolate ice cream one day to you, and you might have a big long discussion about how they've never actually tried chocolate ice cream, or they've never tried the brand that you know they probably would really love, and they absolutely will not let go of this idea that they hate all chocolate ice cream, and they're adamant and passionate about it. And then like a month later, you see them eating chocolate ice cream somewhere and really loving it. I know this is kind of a silly example, but this kind of thing can happen all the time, and it's understandably really confusing until you realize that narcissists' inability to be flexible, their inability to listen and change their minds and debate and discuss things, it's not about what they believe. It's never about what they actually believe. Narcissists don't really have any real values or opinions, really. At least it's not related to the passion they seem to have and the inflexibility and the stubbornness. That's just really inflexibility and stubbornness for inflexibility and stubbornness' sake. It's about their ego. It's about whatever it was they said. They could have said something that they've never even given a second thought to. They could just make something up. But if you give even the slightest hint that you disagree with them or you see something a different way, suddenly that's going to be the hill that they're ready to die on. And they might not have even ever thought about what it was they just said. It's not necessarily something that means a thing to them, but it suddenly means the world when they feel like their ego's threatened. And that's why narcissists seem to contradict themselves so much on things that seemed so important to them, because nothing but their ego is really important to them at all. Another sign that you might be dating a narcissist is disproportionate anger. Narcissists can become extremely angry over seemingly silly things. I was in a situation once where a narcissist started swearing at me and yelling at me because I popped a zit in front of him. I've seen narcissists fly off the handle for things, you can't even remember later what it was. Maybe you asked them a question twice, or maybe the counter was dirty. Maybe you used the wrong rag to wipe your hands off with. Maybe you left your shoes in the wrong place. Maybe you took the wrong route to the gas station. I mean, it can be something that doesn't even make any sense. Maybe you moved something. Maybe you turned the TV a quarter inch when you were dusting. I mean, it'll be just the most innocuous, silliest, inconsequential things, and to them, it's the end of the world. When you're first dating a narcissist and you're still in a love bombing stage and things still seem to be going well, you might see them do this to other people, and they haven't done it to you yet, but your time's coming, that's for sure. It's really important to notice this in other people. I think that if you're still really enamored in this relationship, you're still in the beginning stages, it's easy to excuse these things. It's easy to look at a narcissist that seems disproportionately angry and think, well, maybe there's more to the story, or maybe they're just having a bad day. Disproportionate anger is a very important red flag. It's really important not to ignore, because somebody that is flying off the handle over something that's really not that important is somebody that probably isn't in touch with their anger, probably somebody that isn't able to regulate their emotions or identify why they're feeling what they're feeling. And this is somebody that is potentially dangerous if anger is an emotion that they're unable to control, regulate, or identify. This is not a small problem, and it's almost guaranteed to eventually turn around on you. And it can be especially problematic if, when you try to ask them, why are you this angry over whatever it is, and they just get angrier and they become angry at you for not understanding why they're so angry at something so silly. Someone that's not pathological might stop and reflect and think, if somebody were to ask them, why are you this angry over X, Y, and Z? And they might actually have a discussion with you, and they might actually realize that they're being unreasonable. A narcissist definitely will never do that. A narcissist will just get angrier that someone's questioning their anger. Another sign that you may be dating a narcissist is narcissists can easily abandon their friendships. And you may go a long time never seeing this, or it may happen right away in the beginning of a relationship. So this isn't something that is necessarily constantly happening, but it's something that does happen at different points in a narcissist's life. So if it does happen, it's something that you should really pay attention to. And what this will look like is somebody that seemed to be a really close friend, somebody that seemed to really mean a lot to the narcissist, may do something that offends the narcissist, and suddenly the narcissist will abandon the relationship. And when a narcissist abandons a relationship like this, there's no sense of loss, there's no sadness. I mean, there may be some discussion of, well, it's too bad that my friend couldn't be better. It's too bad that my friend did X, Y, and Z. They may seem a little upset, a little angry, but you won't see them really put any effort into trying to salvage the relationship. You won't see any genuine signs that this relationship was actually something the narcissist really valued. I knew a narcissist that had several very close friends that he had spent a lot of time with for several years. These guys had gone on vacations together. They'd been through a lot of different life events together. They were very close friends. And these guys were in their 40s to 50s. So these were older guys. And the narcissist got married. And when he got married, these friends went to his wedding reception, but they didn't make it to the ceremony because I think they had to work or something. And because of this, the narcissist cut those friendships off completely and never spoke to any of them again. Now, was there more to the story? I don't know. That's how the story was presented to people. And I was really close to this narcissist. I spent a lot of time around this person, and I didn't see any signs at all that he missed these people or that these relationships really meant anything to him. And that was quite shocking and confusing until later, when you realize that relationships are transactional to narcissists. They don't miss people the way normal people do. They don't value anyone past their utility. So if for any reason a narcissist feels offended or feels like someone has lost their use, they don't have any trouble letting those relationships go. And it doesn't matter how much time has been invested in those relationships. It doesn't matter what they've shared, the memories they've had. None of that means a thing in the present moment of a narcissist deciding that a relationship just doesn't serve him or her anymore. Another sign that you might be dating a narcissist is narcissists don't take a no very easily. And I think most people understand this, but I really want to get into exactly what this means. Because if we don't have a really strong, clear feeling and idea of what saying no and putting boundaries up should feel like when we're dealing with reasonable people that care about us, we may not recognize how unhealthy it is when someone reacts in a way that makes us feel bad about our no. So a narcissist might sort of accept a no if we tell them, no, I don't want to do this, or no, I don't want to go there, or no, I don't want to try that. But they will always find some way to punish you, make you feel bad about it, shame you. I mean, they may come right out and start raging at you and start insisting that you do what they want, but they might not. They might do it in a sneakier, more covert way. They might maybe give you a subtle jab. They may just try to make you feel bad about it. They'll make you feel like you're wrong for going against anything that they want. They'll make you feel wrong for having contrary opinions, and not just if you disagree with their political ideas or their religious ideas. Those are more normal for people to get emotional about, but a narcissist will make you feel wrong for not wearing the kind of clothes they think you should wear, or doing your hair the way they think you should, or listening to the kind of music that they think you should. If you try to assert your identity in any way that is contrary to what the narcissist thinks you should be doing, they might not come right out and insist that you do things their way, but they'll somehow make you feel bad about it. They'll try to make you feel stupid for feeling a certain way. Somebody that really loves and cares about you, if you push back on their opinion or you say no to them when they maybe invite you to a birthday party, they're not going to give you the feeling that you've committed some kind of crime, that you don't have the right to say no to things, that you don't have the right to your own opinions and your own agenda. And the last sign that I'm going to go over today, and this is by no means an exhaustive list. I could probably go on another hour just listing things, and I'll probably make another video about this at some point. But the last sign I'm going to go over for today is a really big one. It's a big red flag, and it's arguments that never end or never go anywhere. I know for me, this was one of the biggest red flags that finally forced me to recognize that something was extremely wrong with the relationship. Arguments with narcissists are just an exercise in crazy making. They don't make any sense. They never go anywhere. You often don't even know what you're arguing about. I mean, you could be yelling and screaming for 3 hours, and when somebody asks you the next day what the argument was about, you won't even be able to summarize it. You'll have no idea. Or the summary that you try to explain just sounds completely stupid. Like, I don't know, we argued for 3 hours because I bought the wrong brand of laundry detergent. And I know for me, there were times when I was in a relationship with a narcissistic person while things were still going well, where I would find myself in arguments over things that I was agreeing with. So I am agreeing with everything that he's saying, and he's arguing with me. And that was so confusing. And I remember I kept saying, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you. Why are we arguing? What are we arguing about? I agree with you. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. And it would just keep spinning into some kind of argument, and I couldn't even figure out what we were arguing about. And I look back now and understand that narcissists just need some contention, they need some turmoil, they need some drama, they need to fight, they need to argue, they need some disruption in their life. They can't stand harmony and peace and tranquility. It's boring. Narcissists are dying of boredom on the inside, and if they need to upset you and ruin your day in order to alleviate their own boredom, they'll have no problem doing that. In healthy relationships, you should be able to identify in a sentence or two what an argument is about. And it should sound coherent, and it should sound like something that two adults might argue over. Like, who should be taking the trash out every week, or how much money you should be spending on the groceries, or where you want to live, or whether or not one of you should go back to school, or whatever. You know, normal arguments over things. Maybe even arguing over where to eat dinner that night. These things might not be pretty, but they make sense. Arguments with narcissists don't make any sense. Like I said, we argued for 3 hours because I bought the wrong kind of laundry detergent. Like, why would that be something that would cause a 3-hour argument? And of course, let's not forget arguments over reality. Just for an example, a narcissist might argue with you for 3 hours all night long over how dirty the kitchen is when the kitchen is clean. Maybe you actually spent extra time cleaning the kitchen, and the kitchen is nice and clean, and the narcissist sees it and starts complaining about how dirty it is, and you just sit and start arguing over whether or not the kitchen's clean, and you're arguing for 3 hours when the kitchen's obviously clean, but the narcissist is insisting it's dirty. And you know, you might spin around in circles, driving yourself crazy, asking the narcissist, where is it dirty? Point to where it's dirty. And then of course the narcissist just gets angrier and angrier and more insulted. And that's definitely nothing that I think anyone should ever be putting up with, ever making excuses for. Relationships with normal, healthy people are not like that. They're not full of confusion. They're not full of unwarranted anger or arguments that go nowhere or things that just don't make any sense. People that love you and care about you will let you set boundaries. They'll actually want you to communicate your boundaries. They'll want you to say no when you mean no. People that love and care about you aren't going to be on a mission to make sure that you accept everything the way they see it. They will want to know what your preferences are. They'll want to know what your opinions are, and they will actually show respect for you and your autonomy, for you and your identity. They'll be interested in who you are. Narcissists don't know how to do this. These are all foreign concepts to them. And if we look really closely, we'll be able to see those red flags early on in the relationship. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.